Good afternoon. I'm Dave Thompson. I'm the Education Director for the ACE Academy of Cleaning Excellence and President of the Green Clean Institute. This afternoon we're talking about facility certifications, so come back after this message.
Live from Orlando, Florida, and the ACE Learning Center at Gym Supply, it's Beyond Clean with Dave, a weekly broadcast for professionals in environmental health services around the world. Your host is David Thompson, Director of Education for Gym Supply, and his mantra is, I am a janitor and I save lives. And now let's listen to Beyond Clean with Dave and today's guest at the ACE Learning Center in sunny downtown Orlando.
There are three words on which I focus each and every Friday afternoon. If you've been with me, you know those words are healthy, positive, and proactive. Today, my guest is in studio, and we're going to talk about the progress that his team has went through to certify their facility and what it's meant to the team and the operation as a whole. So I would like you to please welcome Jess Baidwan. He's from the Southern Ute Indian tribe. He's here in the studio with me today. Jess, thanks for coming all the way from Colorado.
Yeah, my pleasure. Great to be here with you.
Well, we've had an interesting week together.
Yes.
Just to let you know, Jess has been with me. He's been part of the master certification course this week. And so I don't want them to think that you've drove all the way down here or flew all the way here just for the show.
Oh, why not? It'll be worth it. It'll be worth it. Totally worth it.
Yeah, well, it's been worth a great week. Okay, so I think the audience kind of needs to know who you are, what you've done, and what you've kind of, you and your team has done to get here.
Sure. I'm a supervisor, division head over a custodial team in southwestern Colorado. We're very near Durango and the Four Corners area, and definitely training, education, process improvement is my passion. And so I brought that to the team when I came over about almost 5 years ago. And so Green Clean Institute and that training that was made available to us was definitely a part of that. Having my team really embrace those changes and understand then that this was going to make their job easier, faster, more productive, and they were going to see the results of it was definitely a part of the engine.
Okay, so you weren't new to the industry, so you did some things before, and I think that after the last few years you've got some recognition for what you've done.
Yes, tied into the Green Clean Institute EHS as well, which I know we're going to talk about in a minute, but for me personally, as a result of the team, I was recognized by Facility Cleaning Decisions magazine as one of their manager of distinction. So myself and 5 other people nationwide out of 200 applicants were awarded this because a good degree because of really implementing a true green process in our facilities.
So it's not just because you cleaned the building, it's because it's actually healthy. Not just a building, but a whole bunch on the reservation.
Yes, healthy, and our entire campus is definitely has improved, and people, they respond back to that. They're seeing the benefits and they're acknowledging the benefits of having a green process in place.
Now, audience, I want to tell you some things. We've kind of known each other for around 4.5 years.
Yes.
He didn't always clean buildings for a living, but you did for a while. Kind of tell them what that was like, being in the business, coming back, and then doing what you've done.
Okay, so I had my own cleaning business for about 13 years. When my son was born, made a decision that I wanted to make a change and sold my business and was happy to sell it. I never thought I was going to come back, but because of process improvement, when the opening was made for a supervisor with the tribe,
okay,
and they knew basically what I was about, and I had the skills and ability to pass knowledge. The fill-in was in that 16 years, the industry had changed exponentially, and the surprising thing was how much technology was in the custodial space. And then I realized that I knew way less than I needed to know. And so I needed to get on the ball and educate myself. And as a result, also educating my team and educating my managers and the tribe as a whole about how this is going to help them be healthier.
Okay, so you won an award in 2016.
Yeah, this last October.
Yeah, last year. Okay, we came and certified the Leonard C. Birch building, if I remember right.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and tell the audience kind of how that went. I mean, because that was an experience for me, but I want to hear. They need to hear from you.
Well, you know, it was all part of a process. First, you educate your staff, you get them certified, then your process is certified, and then now what you want to do is you want to get a building or a facility certified. So that takes you from silver to gold. Then there's a whole checklist of things that you need to do to be able to, that's the process part of it. Dave calls that his dashboard. And so you've got to make sure going through all of your equipment, all of your processes, your consumables, your durables, and then making sure that they meet those standards to a minimum or acceptable degree. And so going through that process was a challenge. You know, it might be a bit of a hyperbole to use the example that I have in my mind, but you know, when a woman gives birth, she's committed to it happening.
Okay.
It can be painful.
Wait a minute. This wasn't like giving birth. Come on.
Hold on. Let me finish my illustration.
Okay. All right.
In the end, though, you know, there's relief, there's acceptance, and there's a commitment to what came out of the labor, which is, in that case, is a child. Now, again, I said it's hyperbole. This is a bit of an exaggeration.
Now, wait a minute. I didn't know this one was coming.
A bit of an exaggeration. Okay, however, going through the process with the dashboard, you know, I can't count, at least 3 times I'm on the phone with you and you're like, Jess, you know, you just need to go find your points. And so you do. You have to go and find your points. And that meant some improvements as we're going through the process. I mean, certain chemistry that we weren't using that we needed to be using, which was actually came as a surprise to me. And then simple things like putting your trash cans near the door so that people can open the restroom doors without touching the handle.
Okay,
high-touch surface.
Okay, so what Jess is talking about, on the dashboard you get points for doing the right thing. My belief is everybody is doing something right. What you did is you found out what you're doing right, and then along the way, so the labor of it was, well, we aren't doing that right.
Hey, finding my points.
Yeah, finding your points. So the interesting thing is you found the points.
Yes.
On the last day, just before I was ready to make a presentation, I'm on the reservation.
Yes.
The day before, we're going through trying to find those last points so you can meet the certification minimums.
Right, but I mean, in reality, we were 150 points above after all was said and done.
Yeah.
But we were kind of sweating a little bit, and for me, I really wanted it to be where we were as good as we could get at the moment. So even though we were scrambling to get those extra points, I really wanted it to represent as good as it could be at the moment. And here we are 2 years later, you know, I'm excited to say we're going to improve on that score.
Okay, now that's later. We're going to talk about that later.
All right.
So one of the things that he did is they went through, they got the certification. We had everybody in the Leonard C. Birch building.
Yes.
We made a presentation.
Yes.
Tell the audience the power of that presentation, because I don't know if you felt it, but I know I did.
Yeah, definitely the chemistry, the dynamics of that changed, because I had told you earlier on that the key decision makers on campus were not likely to attend. They had all been invited, but there was some resistance, some reluctance and all that. They didn't really think much of it.
Well, you were just a cleaning crew.
Right, and so then to both of our surprise, they called recess, and the tribal council and the executive officers came out and saw the presentation that Dave did for the benefit of their building, and then they asked a whole bunch of questions. And during that whole thing, I mean, it was a light bulb moment for them, because then they're animated, they're involved, they're setting goals on the spot.
Well, yeah, they took possession of the whole thing, because you can see, you know, in the photo there was everybody standing behind the table, the presentation. You've got the plaque, and we're all smiles and getting the pictures and everything. And then I'm not sure, the council members said, so what are you going to do on the next building? And you were even trying to get just one, and he's going to the next one. And I'm thinking, man, he's taking control.
Yeah, absolutely. That was the vice chairman, and he's like, I think this is great. And he's like, I think that in 2 years from now, we should have 2 additional buildings certified. And he's even saying what one of them should be. And of course, I'm just nodding my head yes, because I definitely feel like this is important. It's important for those that use the buildings and they're in the buildings on a daily basis to know that they have something that they can be proud of and feel safe in.
Okay, so there's a list of things that you wanted to cover this afternoon for the audience and everything. Now, I think we've got a list of those things. I want to make sure we cover all of them. So if we're looking up there, it's because we've got a lot of things. We want to make sure we cover them all. So there was, if I remember, not just because I was there the day before, but in all those times telling you that you've got to go through this process. This is an organic process. And yes. You had some difficulties along the way.
The thing about it is that we're in a sort of a consumable, high-paced environment, and this is different. It's different than getting your employees or your staff trained and educating the people at large, because you have to prove it. So each of those points on the dashboard, you have to provide proof. It might be a photographic proof, it might be a registration proof, it might be a little video proof. Yes, this machine exists, and yes, we understand how to use it, and yes, it's being used in the building. So that process, there is labor involved. So when I was talking about labor, that's really where the labor is involved, so that you can get through that process. But the end result is definitely worth it.
So it was time consuming is what you're saying?
Yes, it was time consuming, and also getting the custodians that were involved in that building involved in the process as well, not just doing it myself, but
absolutely,
they're doing it every day. And so but getting them to cooperate with, okay, we need to do a video clip of this that you're doing on a daily, monthly, weekly basis, whatever the case is for the process, but getting them involved. And actually that helped them too, because then they had ownership.
Well, and whenever I was there, the team was already ready for me, because they knew that they'd been through the process. They had helped you validate these points. And was the immediate team the only people involved, or was there other departments and other people that knew what was going on?
No, true. We had to get other departments involved. We had to get the building maintenance department involved, and we had to get my director over properties and facilities involved, and he had to be backing the process so that we didn't have a lot of hurdles to jump over. And then also our construction services, they had to be involved to provide the air quality surveys.
So, okay, I'm going to follow you with your labor thing. So in other words, the whole hospital had to be involved in order for you to labor and get the child.
Yes, yes.
Okay.
So yes, there were definitely assistants there. The nursing staff was there as we gave birth.
Okay, so now the thing about it is what this does is you use the term validate. You actually was there on site. You were making sure that they were doing what they should do. So I guess this is that accountability, validation, and everybody was involved, so everybody knew it.
Yes, and again, kind of standing in the wings, the division head over the building maintenance department was there. My director was standing in the corner. He certainly wasn't as vocal as the tribal council became. But yeah, so they were there, and actually that deepened their appreciation as well for our department and what our department is attempting to do for everybody's benefit.
Well, yeah, and I think that's the whole thing. So everybody knew what was going on, and I think because when I got there, I was hey, this was new for me too. You were the first Indian reservation or Native American reservation that we had certified a building on. So I really wasn't sure exactly what I was walking into. Mm-hmm. When you're talking about a private building, a contractor, that's kind of a different thing. But when I got there, everybody, was like, hey, we already know you. We know what's going on. Everybody was, yeah, come on in. Welcome me with open arms. It was great.
Definitely. And the staff, they were excited to have you there personally. You spent a couple of days with us. We did some education breakout sessions. And so the dynamics were really very, very positive and proactive.
Well, yeah, we got to walk all of the buildings, and so I've seen your whole campus. I've seen the challenges.
They were so thrilled about that. I'm sorry to interrupt you, but that was definitely an aspect of this that I wasn't anticipating.
Oh, really?
So after we were all done, and then you're like, hey, gang, I want to see the buildings that you clean. Let's go do a tour of the campus. And they were all so thrilled. They were like proud to be able to take you to their buildings and tell you like all these little idios about, well, this is, and they were all very, very excited.
Hey, they were opening up the closets. They were showing me everything. It was like, hey, this is where we got our numbers from. This is how we did it. And it was like, I mean, I knew that I was a part of the team.
Yes, you definitely were. It was exciting.
So where are you going now?
Well, I'm trying to keep my commitment to tribal council from 2 years ago and to increase the number of certificates. Well, we're going to do one additional gold building, so we'll have 2 gold buildings, and then we're going to jump on board with the partners, the green partnership buildings, and so we're going to have a number of them as well. So we're going to actually, I think, in the eyes of the tribal council, we're going to actually improve significantly.
Okay, so you're looking at having 2 gold certified,
2 gold certified,
4 green and healthy.
4 green.
So that means
you'll
have 6. A certification on 6 in 2 years. So you're going to beat his goal.
Yes, and I'm very happy about that.
Okay, all right. So hey, you know what? We spent a whole week together, and we're not talked out. As you can see, we're still enjoying ourselves.
Oh, you bet. It's been a great week.
So somebody's watching this that is thinking, you know what? I know we're doing the right thing. I need to be able to prove. I need to prove that to somebody. Mm-hmm. What's your word to them to get started? What do they need to do? I mean, do they prepare? Is this?
I think the tack is do the education. Don't allow fear to stand in the way, and move forward. Just take the steps. It's going to take time. I believe, if I remember right, you gave us 6 months to get through the dashboard, and you definitely understood that process was going to take time more than me, because I'm like, oh, this is a piece of cake. This is going to be no problem. And then you're like, how are you doing? You call me, how are you doing on your dashboard? Are you getting things done? Oh, yeah, no problem, Dave. And then push comes to shove, and there is a lot to do. So just stay committed to the process. Make sure you're making time every week to get each of those proofs in the system.
And it's definitely been worth it, because you're now...
Absolutely worth it. No question about it. It is worth it.
Okay, folks, so you heard from the man himself. He's the expert in getting a building certified. I just gave him the formula. He made it happen. Now, really, you didn't make it happen. You facilitated it too, because your crew is what made it happen.
The team. Yeah, their commitment.
Definitely. Yeah, it's the team. It's the team. Folks, I am very happy that Jess has spent the week with me here in studio. Took some time. I know he's got to catch a plane, get back to Colorado. I get to stay here in Orlando.
Yeah, how about
anyway.
That?
Folks, if you have been wondering about where you can find these education classes that Jess has been talking about, go to the gym website. That's gymsupply.net. When you get there, click on the education tab. When you hit that tab, you're going to see all 4 of our locations. That's the 3 other ones other than Orlando. That's our live class schedule. Hey, I have a Facebook page. I know, I got a bald head.
That?
Yeah, hey, like and share my page.
Gleams like a gem.
Oh yeah, like a gem I am. Anyway, we've had so much fun. Check my website. It's beyondcleanwithdave.com. There's all kinds of information right there. So I guess until next Friday afternoon, 1 p.m. Eastern Time, live from Orlando, I'm Dave Thompson. Keep changing your future. Keep those changes healthy, positive, and proactive. And remember our mantra, we are janitors.
We save lives.
We save lives. Hey, just a minute. I'm going to be right back. I'm not going to leave you yet. I got to tell you what's going to happen on the next show that's coming Friday. So just a little pause, and I'll be right back after these credits.
You have been listening to Beyond Clean with Dave and his guest. Sharing what you learn with others is what turns knowledge into professional development. Live classes are hosted each week at 1 or more of our 4 locations in Central Florida. Remember, janitors save lives. Be sure to put us on your schedule to watch next week as we present another broadcast of Beyond Clean with Dave. You have been listening.
Okay, and I'm back for just a few seconds here. Next Friday, I'm going to be talking with Wayne Schletzauer. He's going to be talking about healthy schools. Now, Wayne is a facility manager in a rural K-12 school in central Missouri. I've worked with him and his staff over at that school for well over a decade. You know, I've been able to watch their programs grow. They've changed. And he's going to be with me to explain for you just how his programs have worked, what it's done for that campus, and how they have a healthy place to learn. Now last week we had 2 live shows, one back after the other. So this afternoon, for your viewing pleasure, since we've had a master's class here in Orlando, stay tuned for a conversation I had with 2 of my students. They were more than ready to talk about what they got out of the week. So stay tuned, we'll be right back with that session.